I want to talk about how to get rid of lust completely. Thank you for watching this video. It's going to help a lot of you out there because it's helping me what I'm about to talk about. Lust has been the hardest thing for me to overcome. It's everywhere in my life. Everything I look at in this house right now has been a trigger for me to masturbate. And I know that might sound crazy. You're like, what could be in your house? Well, I don't want to get into details, but everything has been used before for me to get off. Okay. And it's sick. And it's shackled me up. Okay. I'm in bondage. I'm like a slave to it. It's been part of my life forever. Okay. It's been the hardest addiction in my life. That's why this channel is going to kind of go in that direction for lust and getting rid of it because we are enslaved to it. It's annoying. The high doesn't last long, and then we feel guilt, we feel shame, and it just gets worse and worse over the years. I mean, I remember when I was 16 and masturbating was just a simple, innocent thing that a boy did. Now I'm 52, and let me tell you, my fantasies are so dark. I'm not saying it's illegal, but they're so dark and twisted and perverted. That's because I need to increase the perversion, the taboo, and the kinkiness to get a high. Because I'm an addict. I used to be an alcoholic. I smoke cigarettes. I still rock back and forth. I like to escape. I like to listen to music all day long. I don't want to deal with reality sometimes. Okay? And lust is easy to go to because it's on us. It's our part of our body. All we gotta do is just grab it, and we're gonna feel good, and we're gonna feel good for a few minutes. So it's easy to access. It's on us. That's one of the reasons why it's so hard. The other reason why it's so hard to quit lust is that because love is supposed to be the most sacred, innocent thing on this earth for us to enjoy amongst our partner that we love tremendously. It's supposed to be like the icing on the cake. You love your spouse so much that you want to make love. That's the icing on the cake. But Satan has perverted it and made it like bubble gum, and that very young people should be doing it. If you look at cartoons today, they're insane. Okay, everything is sexualized because Satan wants us to make it like bubblegum. Oh yeah, we can have several partners in one night if we want. It's cool. There's apps for it. People are sleeping with hundreds if not thousands of people now. In the 80s and 90s, it was hard to just get one person, at least for me, once a year, if that. And I wasn't a playboy at all. I mean, that's why I think another reason why I'm doing lust a lot, or was doing lust a lot, was my excuse is, well, I never got laid in high school, so I'm making up for lost time. And that's a huge lie. Okay, I've been with lots of people, and it never ends. Okay, there's never a day when I wake up and I'm like, well, I had the most beautiful girl in town. I don't need to have sex anymore. I don't need to have fantasies anymore. It doesn't work that way. Why do you think billionaires still want more money? Because money and sex, it never ends. Because it's part of Satan's plan to destroy us, to leave us empty, to leave us broken. So at the end of our life, because every day we convince ourselves, just one more night. It's harmless. One more night. Okay? Well, when you say that for your whole life, and then you wake up and you're 70 or 80 and you haven't done anything for anyone else on this planet, kind of like Ron Jeremy, the porn star. He's like 70 or 80 now, and he's just looks insane, long stringy hair and fat, and he looks defeated, and he's saying that he's playing insanity for abusing a girl. When you die, everything is exposed. You don't just go into the ground. You are exposed, and everyone knows what you've done. If you go to hell, I mean, I've watched hundreds of testimonials where people go to hell, and in the spirit world, people know who you are, what you think, what you've done, everything. There's millions of people in hell, that are perverted and they've done horrendous things, and they never turned to God, so they went to hell. And because God's like, well, you never lived for me, so you're going to hell. And you can have your dark fantasies with the demons, and the demons are probably going to torment you and torture you for eternity. And that's just what I believe, and a lot of people believe that. Okay, it's scary enough that I don't want to tempt it. I don't want to be like, well, let's see if hell's real. I'm going to sin the rest of my life. No. So it's progressive. All addictions are progressive because you need to sustain that high. You need to get even higher. You're chasing the first high. Okay, just like crack. You're chasing that first high and you never get it again. So you're like, well, let's increase it and make it more taboo, more kinky. That's why it's so dark in this world. I used to hitchhike when I was a teenager and early 20s. I was doing the Jack Kerouac thing, on the road, hitchhiking, freedom, hippie wannabe. And there were some guys that picked me up and they looked at me like I was a piece of meat. And there was a couple times I barely escaped my life. One guy took me to his house. He said he had to do laundry and I should come in. Another guy chased my friend and I down the street after he dropped us off. He got out of the car too and started following us. Huge man. He could have easily taken us. So there's a lot of sickness in this world just driving around looking for prey. That's why hitchhiking is illegal now in most states. So it is a sick, dark world. It's Satan's world. I think this world is more like purgatory. It's a huge test. Okay? And if you go into self-centeredness and I just want to feel good, I don't care what other people say, you're going to just live for yourself and then you're going to just die. You're going to go to a dark place because you're just living for yourself. Okay? And I'm done. I'm just done with being self-centered. I'm done with perversion. It's gross. It's stinky. It's filthy. Demons love filth. And most of my perversion is based on filth. Okay? I smell my armpits and my groin. I mean, that's not normal. And other kinky things. And it's because it's progressed. And demons love dirtiness. They love filth. Okay? That's why, well, I don't want to get into it, but you've probably watched some porn where the guy prefers, the rear end instead of the front end, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, it's just twisted. So the only way we can overcome this lust is basically turning our will over to God. And I want you to just be to the point where you're done. You're just done. Okay, that's how I quit alcohol. I was just done. I knew it. It was like a big thud in my heart. The day I knew I was done drinking, it was like truth hit me. I was done. I was done dying. I was done living for myself, being self-centered, living in my urine, puking every morning, couldn't hold down the first beer, drinking overnight, not eating food because it had ruined my buzz, hurting people, always seeing girls crying in front of me. I'm blacked out, come out of my blackout, and someone's crying in front of me. What did I say to them? I was done. After hundreds of relapses, I was like, this time it's real. So you have to come to that place with lust. So if you're done, if you're like right now, you're done. Okay? I want you to say the prayer under this video. I want you to touch the screen when you say it. Say it out loud. Don't have anyone around you. Okay? If someone's around you right now, save this video and do it later when you're alone. And just touch the screen and say it out loud and truly mean it. Okay? It's the last thing you can do. You're not going to survive these demons by yourself. You can't will your way out of this. It's not about your will. Your will got you in this trouble in the first place. The first step of all 12-step meetings says I'm willing to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand him. Okay? Or her or it, whatever your God is. Okay? You have to turn in the keys. Turn your will over to the care of God because you're not going to win with these demons. Okay? Another thing is don't even tempt any fantasies. Okay? Get rid of all your triggers, and you can't even fantasize about what you fantasize about for a second. Okay? Because right when you start fantasizing, even if you're like, wonder what that would feel like, wonder what, right when you're thinking that way, the demons come in. It's like you just wrote a contract. I'm going to sin today because I'm thinking about it. And then the demons come in. And they'll come in even harder if you've been sober or haven't done any sinning for a week or two. Because you've cleaned your house, you made it all nice. And it says in the Bible, when you clean your house and you invite demons back in, they come back sevenfold. Okay, they invite 7 more of their most wicked demons to enter your house. You cleaned it, you're like, I'm not going to sin anymore, I'm going to church, I'm doing this, all this great stuff, and then you relapse. Demons are like, oh yeah, he couldn't last, let's go back in, let's bring our friends, let's party. Okay, lots of demons. Okay, if you don't believe me, read the Bible again. Jesus is always casting out demons, lots of demons. And just because the Bible's 2,000 years old doesn't mean demons don't exist anymore. No, they're all over. If you don't believe me, look at the music industry. Watch some TV. TV is all about witchcraft now, sorcery, the Lords of the Rings type stuff. And look at Taylor Swift's music. It's all like fairy tale and witchcraft, and you can have anything you want. It's not about God. It's not about co-creating with God. It's about you becoming a sorcerer and having your own magic. Well, that leads to black magic, and it's Satan's. Okay, it's Satan's magic. Okay, same with the Ouija board and all that other stuff. Okay, it's a portal to hell. So say the prayer out loud, and do me a favor and just like this video and leave a comment how you're doing with lust, because a lot of men are getting destroyed by it because it's so easy to access. There's porn everywhere. You can touch yourself anytime. I mean, I've masturbated while driving down the highway. 50 miles an hour. Okay, and I was successful because I'm still here. I didn't crash. Okay, and I've done it in parking lots. I've done it at restaurants where I worked, in the bathroom, everywhere. Okay, it never ends, and it always gets worse. I was watching, one last thing, I was watching a documentary on YouTube. It's called World War II in Color. Okay, and it was the end of the war. Germany's just annihilated. All right, Berlin's just, there's holes in all the buildings from missiles, rockets, and everything is just flattened. We're talking, I can't believe they even rebuilt Germany. It was so destroyed. But after the war, the cameraman's just looking around, looking at all the carnage. And this young blonde girl is walking down the road. And there's no one else around, and everything is just destroyed. It's really unreal. She was walking down the road, and she had bruises on her face. Her hair was just like ripped out, and I knew that she was the product of men that wanted to take out their anger on her sexually. And so if I ever do masturbate again, I think of that image of her first and say that I am the product of doing that to her. She's someone's daughter, and she just got gang raped. Okay? And I'm a product of that because I'm thinking lustfully and perverted, and it's dark and nasty. I'm a product that created her. All right? It's real. Okay? It is messed up. And I'm not even going to talk about what's going on in the underground, the tunnels. Okay? There's networks everywhere. And if the elites want to do really dark stuff, they just go underground. And it's really bad. And thank God I never looked at, children that way. But it gets real, guys. It gets really, really evil. It's so evil on this planet. This is Satan's world. So don't be a part of Satan's world anymore. You either live for God or you live for Satan. There's no in between. Satan owns the fence. There's no in between. Okay, I know that. In fact, Jesus has only spoken to me twice in my life. And the last thing he said, which was the most important, well, it's all important. but relating to my flesh. He said, you either live for me or you live for your flesh. That's it. There's no debating God. There's no debating Jesus. That's pretty clear. You either live for Jesus or you live for your flesh. And the flesh leads to death. Sin leads to death. Okay, if I really wanted to go off, you know, I have a fiance and I'm pretty straight and narrow today and I love her dearly. But if I wanted to really sin, you think I'd be here right now? I know exactly what I'd be doing. I would go out, I would smoke some meth, and I'd go to some gay clubs. I'm not even gay, but that's the most perverted I can think about. Okay, I'm not bashing homosexuality. You can do what you want, but for me, I know I'm not gay, and it's perverted for me. Okay, it's taboo, it's dark, and I would just go all the way. Why? I mean, we don't have morals when we're doing lust. There's no morals when you're sinning. You want to go as dark as possible to get that high. So I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm not going to have triggers anymore. I'm not going to think about it. And I got Jesus. So thank you for watching. God bless you. And say that prayer under this video. I love you. God loves you more than me. And that's it. I love you. We'll talk to you soon.